Hey, it's Mr. Lind. I'm in the basement geeking out with my favorite microphone, and so just to show that I'm a rebel without a clue, I haven't shaved in a couple days because this is not an official uh, schooly video, I guess. So a couple things. Uh, well, I mean it is, but this isn't a class, right? It's like extra credit geeky stuff. So the picture here, that's outside my back door, and we had a bunch of snow days. Like a record, I've been teaching 17 years. I've never seen anything like it. Anyway, gosh dang it, every time I make a video, I swear I'm just going to cut to the chase and shut up. But it never happens. You know that. So I made a video where I made sort of a place to put CentOS. Hopefully you watched that. And I'm going to assume that you got that far. So I'm now starting that machine. I think, yeah, you remember that I pointed it to um, the ISO file, and now I'm going to install this. So while it's running, what we're going to have to go through a couple steps. Um, it's going to install um, CentOS, and after that, we're going to run updates right away. All of this is going to take a long time, and I'm going to fast forward through these. It's just after noon on Monday, January 16th, as you can see. Oh, see, I'm on battery. I need to turn my power supply on. Um, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, um, after we do the updates, then we're going to install Apache Web Server, and then we're going to install PHP. Then we're going to install a database. We're going to use Maria database because that's just very friendly and sort of already ready to go for CentOS. Now, Maria database or MariaDB is a branch or a fork of MySQL. So anyway, if that means nothing to you, fantastic. Just keep rolling. So that's going to give us CentOS as Linux. Apache is our web server. M should be MySQL, but it's been replaced by Maria database. I think that I think that's why they named it Maria, because as you'll see in a minute, PHP, that's Linux. L, Apache web, Maria, PHP, LAMP, LAMP. This is called a LAMP stack, or you might hear people refer to it as just a LAMP server. That means Linux, Apache, MySQL, or Maria in our case, Maria database, and PHP. And a lot of the web runs on that. I think this is a fantastic way to start. Not only does it take your web development to the next level, but it really gets you going on learning how to program. Maybe a final note before I get into all this. Oh, I'm going to forget the power. Hang on. Yeah, there's so much stuff in forums online, and it's really good. So there's going to be a point here that you're like, yeah, I get it, and I'm not moving fast enough. Fantastic. Leave me in the dust. I am trying to make a slow, overly thorough set of videos to help a person get to kind of the end. I'm gonna try to make this like, you're a student in my class, and this is I'm kind of sitting next to you, helping you go through this. So as always, you can fast forward or whatever. So I have a Windows 10 system, but it doesn't have a camera, and it's kind of too much. I left my camera at work, and then we had more snow days. This already happened once, so I'm tired of waiting. And oh, by the way, this is kind of a neat feature in Mac, but you can run it full screen in on a Windows system as well. So here we go. Notice you see my mouse here, and then you sort of see another mouse in the system that's not moving. As soon as I tap on this screen, yeah, then I'm locked into the mouse in the server. So, boy, yeesh, now that I've done it, to get out, okay, on a Mac, it's hitting the Command key. I forget, I'll have to update this. I'll post it in the something that goes along with this video. I think it's like Control F or one of the control keys, or maybe it's Shift F on Windows. Anyway, that goes full screen and not. So sorry, but I'm afraid I have to pop back to sort of show you some concept, and this is weird. So you notice if you're looking at my desktop right now, I wish we could sort of, you're seeing it straight on, and we've talked about CSS and divs this way. I wish we could look at this kind of side by side like this, turn it sideways and look and see that, let's say this is the server. Remember, it's a fake computer, and it's running on top, or rather within, my real computer, which in this case is 2009 MacBook. Something very nice, but nothing spectacular by today's standards. Anyway, but I only have one mouse, and if this sort of makes sense, if this is the server and this is my regular desktop environment, when the mouse is inside the server, it's moving around, but it's sort of, especially in the beginning, you're going to see it's sort of locked in the boundaries of the server. Now, while the mouse is in the server, it is not in my normal environment. So in this case, I'm running Mac and CentOS. So if the mouse is working in CentOS, it is not working and not even really present in Mac, or perhaps in your case the Windows environment. I hope that makes sense. It's just something we're going to have to sort of work with. So I'm going to go back to full screen. Well, let me show you. Okay, so now see that I'm inside of a CentOS environment, and I can't get my mouse out. I'm trying to roll it off of the screen onto my Mac desktop, and I can't do it till I hit Command. Now I'm out on the Mac, but even though you see my Mac mouse hovering here, you notice that that other mouse that's not moving, that's the CentOS, or the one that's actually has nothing technically to do with CentOS. It's just a virtual machine. Okay, so back in the virtual machine, popped back out again. You perhaps see me do that, and I hope that I can sort of stop talking about it and just roll. But if at some point it's not working that way for you at home, maybe that's what's going on. Okay, so we have to do a couple of settings, and it's just going to go through and check some stuff. Let's do date and time. By default, it's going to put you in New York. Let's do that. We're going to want to turn this on. Yeah. Okay. All this is good. All this is good. Let's look at software selection. Let's do server with GUI, and then just accept the defaults here. There are other things, but we're gonna install this later, like FTP server. Don't do it. Don't do that. We're gonna do it the good old-fashioned way with the terminal. Okay, so let's do server with GUI. That's graphic user interface, or GUI. So server with GUI is what I'm gonna choose, and that's gonna get everyone who's familiar with Windows the most, I think, familiar kind of experience they can have. Let's look at network as well. Click on that, and this is important. You're going to want to turn this so that it goes on. And what it's doing right now is, remember, this is a virtual machine. Yeesh. Let's say this is I need better visuals. I'm gonna switch hands. Let's say this is the Mac or my actual computer, and here is the virtual computer. And what this is doing is sort of taking the real computer, the actual computer's network connection, and sort of peeling it off a little bit and connecting it to the virtual machine. So the virtual machine sees a connection, which is really just sort of a pass-through connection right now from the actual machine. And for now, we'll let that ride, but we should click Configure and click on General and automatically connect to this network when it's available, and otherwise you're going to have to start the network every time you start this, and you don't want that. So please make sure you do that. Host name, you can leave it as it is. That's, you know what, maybe I'll make a video about what that means and why you may want to change it, but there's no reason to change it. This is a test server. I think we said in the last video, don't change it. Yeah. And so I think we're ready to go. This security policy, just default is what it's going to do. We'll just leave it at that for now. And again, for all of these things, you may be forming questions. Google it. There's forums like crazy. On the other hand, keep in mind this is a test. Let's just move forward. We just need to click this. Remember, in the last one we made a 10 gigabyte virtual disk, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna leave it to automatically configure. Don't bother encrypting for now, and let's say done. Okay, and now you can see everything is ready to go, and let's click begin installation. There's a lot going on here. Well, excuse me. First, we have to set the passwords, and this is also going to be some important stuff here. So as I'm typing this in, it's doing sort of a analysis for me to tell. Wow, see, I thought that was pretty good, but not really. And you know what? For this video, I'm gonna put it back to this because I'm gonna forget. This is your root password, and I'm doing something. In fact, no, I'm gonna add this on at the very least. Okay, this is your root password, like your administrative password in Windows, only it ain't Windows. Do not mess with root. Write this down somewhere safe, even if right now this is a throwaway installation, right? Train yourself to respect the root account. That needs to be some password nobody's ever going to guess, and that honestly you won't remember if if you haven't written it down somewhere. And of course, that's bad security. You shouldn't write it down. But don't do what I did. I just did something awful. Okay, I mean by accepting a fair password. And you can Google making secure passwords. There's lots of great tools. So let's create a user, and I'm going to create one. I'll give it my name. You want to click it, make this administrator. That's gonna, you don't have to click advanced, but that's gonna add you to this group called wheel. Yeah, okay. And as long as that's done, we just need a password. Dang. And you can see that it's showing weak. Oof. I'm going to have to push this twice because it's weak. That's for security's sake. Okay, before I move on, guys, girls, write this one down as well. Well, log it in your minds. Ideally, you don't have to write it down, but you're going to use this account, the username, and this password to connect back to your web. Like we used FTP in school, but you're going to use something called SFTP. Now that's probably kind of confusing because at school we did FTPS. This is SFTP. So you're going to need that, again, for the love of all that's holy, not the root account. You're going to use that where we clicked user creation. That's the account you're going to use, and that's the password you're going to use to connect to the web server once we have all of this set up. So you can see my installation, I'm at file 292 of 1257. So I think we're going to do some editing here because who wants to watch that? Yeah, so sit back, relax. I think I just popped out, by the way, because I want to see the time. It's, and by pop out, you know what I'm saying, I'm switching the mouse, the focus. So it's 12:22. I'll pop back in by clicking on this screen. And all right, take a break, take a rest.
Wanna go on back to when the jocks still ruled my high school, and all you needed to be happy was to break somebody's rule. Yeah, I wanna go back, it's not nostalgia, for I was never cool. I wanna go back, yeah I do. I should have said so when I saw you at the store, but the customers were all watching CentOS, and you was headed for the door. You didn't notice that I got promoted, but I saw that you cut your hair. You didn't notice, you didn't care. Our song was always on the B-side. You played it for me. You're always taking all the read side. His songs were free. These are the things that I live without.
Okay, thank God, saved by something. Well, as you can see, I've been watching that for a while. We're done. Let's reboot. And I think that'll, I just want to confirm that it starts up, and then we'll end this video. You saw a little note down there at the bottom, and just so you know, I'm still in my operating system there. You saw a little note at the bottom that I had not accepted the licensing agreement. So on the first start, oh, you can see that, yeah, just ignore it. The first time it starts, we're going to have to accept that, and that's when I'll stop the video, okay? But here's our first startup. Now, as long as I'm in there, I can hit the escape, and it'll show me what's happening. You don't need to hit escape. You don't need to see that. You don't need to understand it even. Just so you know. And again, you sort of see two mice there. That's the Mac, which is the actual computer, and I think I should be calling it the host, and the virtual machine runs in the host. So you saw that I clicked on the license agreement, And like all license agreements, I'm going to carefully consider it and check the box and move on. Okay. Okay, so you can see this is the basic login screen, and hopefully you remember, when I created the account, I had to put in the root password, but then I created this one, and gee willikers, I hope I can remember. I don't know if I can. Oh, good. And in a little, I think in the next video or two, we'll get rid of that annoying extra mouse. In fact, I can probably do that. And sorry, while we're waiting for the screen to come back up, I just was hitting the on the Mac. It's the Command key. On your Windows machine, I think it's Shift F, but it might be Control F. F for full screen. Okay, and so here's the login screen. This is what it looks like. Success, you've arrived. I'm going to stop this. In the next video, we are going to do some updates. But by golly, I think this speaks for itself, right? Yeah, this is kind of cool, except that I'm not going to do it. I have OwnCloud. That's something worth Googling, but yeah, don't set that up. Again, keep in mind this is a test machine, and we'll go from there, okay? And some helpful stuff if you want to learn that. Yeah, you're welcome to read it. I'm going to skip it all. It's there for you. Okay. This concludes our broadcast day.